Welcome to a Chelsea end of season review. It is time that we have a little talk, a little chit chat on everything that has transpired. The season's over. The competitions have come to a close. Chelsea are Conference League champions and they're going to the Champions League in the next season. It seems on the face of it, or on the back of it, in hindsight, like a very good season. And a lot of people are saying that, you know, emotions and tempers have caused a very successful season to look worse in the moment than it is, or worse in the moment than it was, I suppose. But in this video, we're going to go through basically the whole season in many ways, and just discuss, because as you know, I've been rather emotional. I've been a bit of a sour puss when it comes to Chelsea Football Club over the last year for sure. This season, I've been very critical, and you know, I've been very critical throughout the season, not only to the players, but of course the manager as well. And I personally think I've been more or less justified in what I had to say. But without further ado, let's get into where it all began. Manchester City was the first game. We lost 2-0 all those months ago. The 18th of August, an Erling Haaland early goal in the 18th minute, and then an 84th minute Mateo Kovacic goal to just cap off what was a terrible, terrible start. But people were arguing the, you know, teething pains and that we were, you know, it was just the start of what is to come. And in hindsight, they were absolutely right, because we had a game against Servette, 2-0. We won 6-2 against Wolves and then lost the return leg 2-1 against Servette, to just narrowly go through 3-2 into a Conference League tournament, which we would go on to win. A Crystal Palace draw after that, and that would spark many concerns for a lot of people, because we haven't dropped points against Crystal Palace in years, in many, many years. And we also would go on to not win in the return, the away fixture as well. A run of fantastic form would ensue. It would, you know, a win against Bournemouth, a win against West Ham, both away from home. As we now know, our away record hasn't been fantastic, but 5-0 against Barrow in the League Cup, 4-2 at home against Brighton, 4-2 against Ghent. It seemed to be going all so well, and it continued to until that game. Drawing to Nottingham Forest, who would then ultimately challenge for top four for the remainder of the season, up until we'll get to that one at the end. A loss against Liverpool would ultimately see a little bit of a change in momentum for sure. I think that was the moment that we started to realise, hey, maybe we aren't competing for the Premier League. A lot of people thought we would have been, or that we were back at that point. A lot of people needed to calm the fuck down, to be completely honest with you, because at no point, I jokingly said, you never know. You never know. But I think, you know, cooler heads, people with a bit more experience watching this current Chelsea side and ones over the last couple of years would know that this was never going to end as easy as it started. Winning against Panathinaikos, we then beat Newcastle at home, which was, I think at the time, quite an unexpected result. Unless Newcastle, no, I think it was quite unexpected. Goal scorers in that game, Nicholas Jackson, an Isak equaliser, and then a Palmer 47th minute goal right on the start of the second half. We then get knocked out by Newcastle in the League Cup, which was very frustrating. It didn't seem necessary. But again, I think at that point, everyone would have argued that they would have rather keep themselves in the Premier League. I think myself included, I was more than happy for us to go out of the League Cup if it meant focusing solely on the Premier League. Conference League at that time seemed to be under control because we had our like crazy B team and C team at that point. Dropping points then against Manchester United would start again to raise some eyebrows and cause some concern. But then again, on the back of that, an 8-0 win against Noah. We're in November at this point and drawing to Arsenal in the next game. So it's still kind of going pretty good. Pretty good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then an 8-win in a row streak, or a streak of 8 in a row at Leicester, Heidenheim, Villa, Southampton, Tottenham, Astana, Brentford, and Shamrock Rovers. It is quite the array. Quite the array of teams that we've come across there. But such is the nature of the beast being Chelsea Football Club. That would then spur on the beginning of what seemed like the end. The Christmas period was upon us, boys and girls. Everton, draw. Fulham, loss. Ipswich, the worst of them all. 2-0 after just a terrible game, all in all. Some dodgy officiating. And then following that, another draw to Crystal Palace. 5-0 against Morecambe. It seemed to be the turning point. Alas, it was not. A draw to Bournemouth. But a 3-1 win against Wolves, who ultimately were pretty shit at that point as well. Manchester City, 3-1. 2-1 win against West Ham, followed by a 3-game loss streak with 2 in games away to Brighton. 2-1 in the FA Cup. Out of that, 3-0 in the Premier League. Out, seemingly out of the running for that altogether. And then a 2-1 loss to Aston Villa. It was just all going wrong. And then we're now in the back foot. We're in the final stretch. It would seem we need at this point that Villa game. It seemed to be one of the final nails in the coffin, and I think a lot of people were starting to worry that top 4 seemingly falling out of our grasp, despite the fact that we'd been challenging for top 4 for the entire season. We'd get a win against Southampton. In the Conference League, we'd win away from home in the first leg against Copenhagen. Another win against a relegated side in Leicester. 1-0 in that game. And then we'd seal the deal against Copenhagen. A loss to Arsenal, and it seemingly wasn't meant to be once again. But then a game against Tottenham. You can always rely on Tottenham Hotspur to get you out of a sticky situation. A win against them. But then a dropping points. We dropped players, important players. I remember we dropped players such as Reece James in that game. Huge players in that game in order to facilitate an away game against Legia Warsaw. All of that to then draw again to Ipswich. The tempers, they were starting to raise. I was losing my rag. At that point, I was very close to being Maresca out. And then the game against Legia Warsaw that we lost. 2-1. 2-1. 4-2 on aggregate. I was done. I was so done. And I just couldn't see a way back. But then out of the depths, out of absolutely nothing, Fulham, win. Everton, win. Djurgården, win. Liverpool, win. One of the craziest results, but also in hindsight, kind of, you could have seen that one coming. Djurgården, win. A loss to Newcastle. It seemed at the final hurdle we'd fucked it once again. But then against all odds, not against Manchester United, we got the win there, but the Nottingham Forest on the final day, we needed a win. We needed a win. And we got it. We got it. And listen, say what you want about Enzo Maresca. I've had plenty to say. Called him every name under the sun this season. He's got the job done. He's got the job done. And then to go on, win 4-1 against Real Betis. A Spanish side, I think 27 wins in a row in cup finals, in European cup finals for Spanish sides come against Chelsea. No. more records for the Spaniards. They are done. Chelsea with the win. We have the Conference League. We've completed the trilogy and ended with a very, very good season, all truth be told. I'm going to rank the season. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Realistically speaking, Conference League, we should have won. We did win. We made it tricky at the end, but ultimately came out very, very strong. In the league, we made it harder than we needed to. I think we've been fortunate. I still stand by what I said, that we've been fortunate based on the other teams absolutely bottling it on the last day. Newcastle, Villa, Forest, all bottling it. And we come out on the top, out of all those teams. It's absolutely crazy that we did so well. I'm FA Cup and League Cup and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, next season I'm gonna be giving a clean slate. I'm gonna be less critical from the get-go. I'm gonna give him until Christmas for sure, and we'll assess. We'll do like a halfway through the season review. But truth be told, I think there's still a lot to do. We're making signings. We've got Liam Delap either over the line or it's seemingly done. And it's a lot to do. A lot to do. I'm not going to sit here and just immediately say that we're not going to do well in the Champions League, because we've gone into Champions League winning campaigns thinking the worst, and we've gone on to win the thing. So you can never count Chelsea out when it comes to European football. With that said, let me know your thoughts on this season in the comments down below. It's been a bumpy one, but I do appreciate all of your support. Nevertheless, I really do appreciate it. It's been a very, very good season here on the channel, and I look forward to next season. Champions League football, baby. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. My name is Harry, up the Chelsea, and peace.